Prices in Vegas are getting out of control. For a family of 4 people in Vegas, this buffet will cost you $300. And this one, $320. How about this buffet coming in at a mind-melting $400? I'll be forward the tip, mind you. This video aims to answer the question, for the love of Pete, why? You see, in 2024, corporations in Vegas are scamming you. I mean, there's no other way to say it, really. If you visited the city lately, you might have noticed the value you get during your stay has dropped faster than the free fall ride at the Stratosphere. But what you might not know is that the death of the buffet is the birth of new profits for casinos, as they switch over to a model that works to bring them big money while they slowly eat away more and more at your budgets. In this episode of Not Leaving Las Vegas, we investigate and answer what happened to the once iconic Vegas buffet. And in our research, we uncovered a potentially evil reason why suddenly food has gotten so darn expensive on the Las Vegas Strip. So are you ready? Let's get started. All right, so let's talk about something that's been bugging me and maybe you too if you've been to Vegas lately. Do you remember those epic buffets? The ones where you could stack your plate a mile high with anything from prime rib to crab's legs to endless desserts? Yeah, those legendary Las Vegas buffets, they seem to have disappeared into thin air. So what exactly happened? Hi there everybody, Steven here, and like many of you, I made my first trips to Vegas in the 1990s. Back then, everything was simpler and a lot slower. No internet in the palm of your hand, no resort fees, and definitely no paid parking. There was one thing, though, that was constant, and that was the buffets. It seemed like back in the day, practically every casino on the Strip had a buffet. Most of them cost very little and served one primary purpose: keep you in the casinos gambling. As a matter of fact, it's hard to believe, I know, but there was anywhere from 50 to 60 buffets in Vegas back in 1995. That's almost too much choice, but you ever wonder exactly what happened to them? Like, literally, where did they go? Did everyone suddenly stop wanting cheap food? Did we all suddenly get refined palates? So question for you. If you're a casino, would you rather run a buffet and lose money every single month, hoping to gain it back on the gaming, or find a way to generate potentially millions of dollars in revenue in that same month while letting someone else worry about making a profit? Now, the answer to that one is coming up. And when we get there, it's going to make total sense why something as simple as 4th Street tacos or a burger and fries is suddenly so crazy expensive here in town. So picture this. It's the 1940s and Vegas is just starting to light up in the desert. Herb McDonald, who's a sharp publicist for the El Rancho Las Vegas, faced a classic Vegas problem. People at the casino would gamble, but they'd always leave to get food. You know, it's that human trait, eating, that we all share. You know, the answer to this was simple. The question was complex. How do you keep gamblers glued to the casino floor during the wee hours? His genius solution? The Midnight Chuck Wagon Buffet. Yeah, I know, it sounds like something named by a 4-year-old child, but at the time, for just $1, the modern-day equivalent of just over $17, guests got access to an all-you-can-eat spread. And we're not just talking about some skimpy snack bar either. This was a full-on feast. It wasn't just about filling stomachs, it was actually about creating an experience that made people feel like Vegas was a place where you got more than you bargained for. Now, as word caught on, people were coming for the buffet and staying for the gambling, not necessarily just eating the buffet because it was there and they happened to be gambling. Pretty clever, right? And boom, just like that, the buffet was born. It became as much a part of Vegas as the flashing neon lights and the jingle of slot machines. And over the next few decades, buffets exploded in popularity. Hotels were in an all-out war to outdo each other with the most extravagant offerings. It was like an arms race of indulgence, like who could pile the most lavish spread to lure in the hungry masses. The boom in Vegas in the 1970s led to another explosion at a particular property, one with one of the most famous and infamous buffet deals of all time, the Circus Circus, which opened in 1968. This joint wasn't just famous for its circus and carnival atmosphere, but also became famous for its colossal buffet. You see, Circus Circus was never intended to be much more than a gambling hall, and at the time it had expanded so quickly, the complete lack of restaurants on site led its current owners to create one of the largest buffets in North America. That, combined with the explosion of slot players coming into the property, led to Circus Circus being one of the largest food suppliers in the entire state of Nevada at the time. I mean, at its peak, Circus Circus buffet was feeding more people than any other establishment in the state of Nevada, except for the state prison system. And just let that sink in for a moment. Thousands upon thousands of people lined up every single day to get their fill. It was a testament to how these buffets weren't just meals, they were literally institutions. I mean, their goal was simple, right? Make guests feel like anything was possible in Las Vegas. From unlimited lobster tails to towering chocolate fountains, these buffets were destinations in their own right. Tourists would schedule their vacations around them. Locals had their favorite spots they swore by. Hitting up a buffet wasn't just about eating. It was a Vegas rite of passage. But here's the kicker. Behind all this glitz and glamour, there was a not-so-pretty reality forming. You see, running these buffets was insanely expensive. Food costs were and still are skyrocketing, staff wages were climbing, and the overhead to keep these massive operations going, it was huge. Yet the prices for these buffets somehow remained surprisingly low. Back in the day, you could always walk into some place and eat to your heart's content for under $20. And the math simply didn't add up. You can't keep dishing out mountains of crab's legs and prime rib for pocket change without something suddenly snapping. But you know what isn't insanely expensive and won't make you snap? Supporting this channel with a subscription right now. As well as a like on this video, that would be great. I mean, these videos take about 15 to 25 hours to create. So your support in that simple way would mean the world to us, literally. So back to the pesky cost problem with the buffets. The casino operators tried all sorts of tactics, putting the bread and salad first to urge people to fill up on the cheapest options, and leasing out the buffets to third parties in order to better turn profits. Nothing seemed to work, and by the time the COVID-19 pandemic rolled into town, casino executives, they started to take notice. They began to ask themselves why they were essentially giving away food when there were way more profitable avenues to have been explored. High-end dining experiences, celebrity chef restaurants, exclusive nightclubs, these were the new moneymakers. Luxury was becoming the name of the game, and suddenly the good old buffet just didn't seem all that appealing to the bigwigs upstairs. One by one, the iconic buffets started to shut down. The Carnival World Buffet at the Rio, which was once the largest in the city, closed its doors forever. The Blvd Buffet, famous for its gourmet selections, took a break and then came back after COVID with higher prices and fewer options. Even the mighty buffet at Circus saw a decline. The bustling halls that were once filled with clatter of plates and the buzz of excited diners, it grew forever more quiet. The longtime Vegas fans were left scratching their heads. The buffets had been a staple for their Vegas experience as long as they could remember. Families used to make it a point to try a different one each night, turning meals into memorable events. Now it felt like a piece of Vegas history was being erased, replaced with pricey restaurants that didn't quite offer the same bang for the buck. I'm curious to know your favorite buffet. Leave it in the comments below. But remember, it wasn't just about the money. There was another elephant in the room, that of waste. See, buffets are notorious for generating massive amounts of food waste. In a world that's becoming more conscious about sustainability and environmental impacts, that kind of excess started to look pretty bad to the corporate people at the casinos. Plates piled high with uneaten food weren't just shrugged off anymore, they were a glaring problem. See, studies show that buffets could end up wasting half the food that they prepare. Think about that for a minute. Every tray of food that would go out, half of it might end up back in the trash. And in an era where we're more aware than ever about resource scarcity and environmental footprints, that level of waste became harder to justify. The buffets, once symbols of generosity and abundance, started to look like relics of a very wasteful past. So what did Vegas do? Vegas did what it always does best. It adapted. The city shifted gears towards exclusivity, personalized experiences, maximizing profits per visitor. I made a video about this a few weeks ago. You can check it out by clicking the card above my head. High-end restaurants helmed by celebrity chefs, ultra-exclusive nightclubs, luxury retail shops. That's where the real money was rolling in. The affordable buffet, which had once been the great equalizer, allowing anyone to feel like a high roller, didn't fit into this new business model. But here's where it gets really interesting. I mean, the disappearance of the buffets, it's not just a story about changing business strategies or environmental concerns. It's also a tale about corporate profits. See, buffets have been replaced in many casinos by shiny food halls, which lease out space to vendors who try their very best to turn a profit in what's already an insanely tight margin business. I mean, think about it, right? Why would you, as a casino, operate a buffet when you can section off that buffet space to 10 different companies, all willing to pay you at least 6 figures a month? I mean, you just turned your money-losing buffet into a $12 million guaranteed feature that you can brag about to your investors. Let the vendor figure out all the food costs and a way to be profitable and collect your cash every month. And is it any wonder now why you're paying close to $25 for a burger and fries or a few street tacos at a food hall in the Las Vegas Strip? So maybe the vanishing buffets are a sign of the times, like a reflection of how some of the magic can fade when the bottom line takes over everything else. In the city that never sleeps, some legends, I guess indeed, have been put to bed. But listen, the memories do linger. I mean, people still talk about the time they spent hours sampling dish after dish, laughing with friends and family, feeling like they were a part of something uniquely Vegas. And who knows? I mean, maybe the spirit of those legendary buffets isn't entirely gone. Perhaps it's waiting in the wings for a comeback. I mean, after all, Vegas is a place that always is reinventing itself. And trends come and go, but the desire for that sense of limitless possibility, I mean, that's timeless. Maybe someday the buffets will return, reimagined for a new era, but still offering that same incredible balance of experience, abundance, indulgence, and good price points. So the next time you're in Vegas and you pass by where your favorite buffet used to be, just take a moment. Remember the good times, the overstuffed plates, the laughter, the sheer joy of it all. Because in a world that's always changing, it's these memories that keep the spirit of places like the Las Vegas Strip alive. So once again, my name is Steven and I am not leaving Las Vegas. Huge thanks go out to Robert O for the video topic idea. And to the people that support me on Patreon. I mean, you can see their names up on the screen right now. Consider supporting us with a subscription, a like, a share, and you can also head on over to Patreon with the links below to help us pay the bills for less than a cup of a large Starbucks coffee every month. And hey, you'll even make it into the end of one of my videos. Now it's time of the video where I thank you again for watching. Look at the camera, say you're the best part of my day, and I say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, and click.